Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's time for another video with yours truly, Miss Farrah, your favourite London transsexual neighbourhood transsexual. I don't know where I'm going with that, but anyway, yes, let's sort the beginning out a bit better for next time. But anyway, so today's video, I didn't have anything I wanted to talk about, and then I saw all the articles and posts from various people from Drag Race and other people in our LGBT community talking about the comment that RuPaul recently made, saying that he probably will not be allowing trans drag artists to compete in Drag Race, transitioning trans drag artists, should I say, because obviously they've had two trans women on the show before, but obviously they were not trans at the time, or they came out as trans. Sorry, three actually. So anyone not familiar, RuPaul's Drag Race is a show on American television, which obviously we watch around the world, which is basically like America's Next Top Model or something like that, you know, where people compete to win a grand prize of money and title, and obviously it furthers their career in drag. And obviously because of Drag Race, a lot of more people around the world are aware of drag and understand it more, but and it's made a lot of drag performers much more well known. It's given them a better platform to perform and all of that kind of stuff, which is all a great thing. Of course, I think a lot of younger people will struggle to understand that RuPaul's ideal of drag is not the way all drag is performed, and the rules of RuPaul's Drag Race are not the rules of drag around the world and the way it's been and the way it's always been. You know, these are just the way it works on RuPaul's Drag Race, so people need to really understand that firstly. I started out in drag when I was younger. I worked in Random JoJo's in London 3 nights a week in the year 2000 for a couple of years. It was one of the best jobs I ever had, and I loved it. And I wouldn't change that experience for the world. I did stop doing drag, but if I'd carried on, there would have been nothing wrong with that. You know, being a drag queen has nothing to do with just being a man. Being a drag queen, anyone can be a drag queen. A trans woman can be a drag queen too, because that's a career, it's not a lifestyle. So I just wanted to put that out there. Now, of course, my views on this, I don't know. RuPaul's already stated it in a few episodes previously, that the only requirements to go on Drag Race are to have charisma, uniqueness, nerve and talent. That's all that they screen for, apparently. This is what RuPaul said. And now RuPaul's saying in an article that he doesn't really want transitioning trans women on the show because it will detract from the point of the show and the message, and the fact that, you know, once someone's had plastic surgery and they look feminine, it kind of defeats the object of a man doing drag. That's all well being said, but there's a few drag queens that have had physical alterations surgically. You know, Trinity Taylor and Detox have both had silicone work on their bodies. So my point is kind of, what's the difference between that surgical work and a trans surgical work? Because really the only difference that you would see visually with people wearing clothes is that they would have actually have breast implants or natural breasts, as opposed to wearing a breastplate. That's the only difference I see, really, because you know, men can be very feminine looking and wearing lots of makeup. They can look extremely female and feminine. So I don't see the difference between that surgical work and a trans woman having surgical work, because they've altered themselves. Even if they're living as their life as a male, they still have a feminine shape. They still have feminine attributes, as it were, and that hasn't made it better or worse for those contestants, because some of them have done really well and some of them haven't done as well. So clearly, though, having those things done does not mean that you have an advantage over anyone else, because otherwise they would have both won their seasons, and they didn't. So it obviously has nothing to do with your aesthetic. It has to do with your talent and your drag aesthetic, as far as how you look, and obviously not having surgical enhancements. So that kind of argument of not having trans people on the show because of that kind of falls apart a bit for me. Having said that, I do get RuPaul's point. It's RuPaul's show, so those are his rules, and that's the way it is. I won't stop watching the show, because everyone has a view and everyone has a point, whether it's right or wrong. I don't agree with his point, but it's his show, and it doesn't change my view on him because, you know, we all have certain views about things. I'm not making excuses, let me just say. I also don't know whether it's also been done just to get more attention to the show, more hits and views for him. You know, as they say, all publicity is good publicity, regardless of what's being talked about. So I don't know whether this has been done to make things more talked about or make it a hot topic, all that kind of stuff. So it's hard to know where this comment has come from. It's also hard to know if it's definitely true. Maybe I need to do a bit more research into it to find out. But as far as my social media and reading the comments from people who've actually been on Drag Race and how angry they seem to be about it, I can't imagine that it was not a true comment, because I don't see why would any of them would go against talking out against RuPaul unless it was an important subject enough for them to feel that they need to talk about it. And it is an important subject, you know. We are LGBT, we are supposed to be inclusive. If you've already stated as well beforehand that it is an inclusive show as far as that anyone's allowed to enter, then I don't see why you'd suddenly say that only gay men are allowed to enter, or men in general. So I'm not sure about his RuPaul's motives about why he's decided to come out and say this, considering there have been trans in the program before. It's a bit weird, and it's very out of character, I would think, for RuPaul. Plus, at the end of the day, the show is so successful now. I can't see any controversy affecting the show too much now. So yeah, it's an interesting one. What's everyone else's views about this? I am disappointed in it. I'm not going to lie. But you know, it is what it is. So you know, it's a hard one to make a decision about. You know, it does feel like it is a slap in the face, I have to say, and it is irritating. When I read it, I was like, really, RuPaul? You know, it did disappoint me. I'm not gonna lie, but it is his show and his choice, his decisions. So I don't know how we work around that. So be really interested to hear what other people think and what their views are on this. So let's have a discussion about it. That's the point. Leave your comments in the comment section down below, and let's get talking. Hope you all have a really good day, everybody. Lots of love, and I'll see you really soon.